Last night, I opened Instagram and saw myself smiling in a stranger's story. That sentence probably sounds like clickbait or some dumb setup for a horror story you'll scroll past in a few seconds. But I'm telling you this because I need someone, anyone, to know I'm not lying. I wasn't tagged. I didn't follow the account. And the strangest part? At the exact moment that photo went live, I was sitting in my room, lights off, phone in hand, doing absolutely nothing. I was alone. It wasn't a picture I'd ever taken. The angle was wrong. Too low, like someone was crouching near the floor and aiming up at me. The lighting was strange, tinted with this sickly yellow glow, like the cheap bulbs you only find in basements or gas station bathrooms. But the face in that photo, the face was mine. My own eyes staring back. My own grin, wide and unnatural, like it had been pasted onto my skin. For a moment, I thought maybe I'd left the front camera on by accident, and this was some glitch, some recycled selfie I didn't remember. But the username hovering at the top of the screen didn't belong to me. It didn't belong to anyone I knew. Just random letters and numbers like an auto-generated bot account. Still, it knew me. The caption under the story was worse. It simply read, "Say cheese." My hands started to shake, and for a few seconds I couldn't breathe. Because the photo wasn't just me sitting in my room. There was something behind me, barely visible in the dark. A faint outline in the corner, like a shadow waiting for me to notice it. I shut my phone off immediately. My heart hammered against my ribs, telling me I should delete the app, throw the device across the room, pretend I hadn't seen it. But curiosity is a curse. You can't just look away once you've glimpsed something that doesn't belong in your world. And that's what this story is about, the moment I stopped belonging to mine. Because that wasn't the first time it happened. And it definitely wasn't the last. But let me start from the beginning because the story didn't end there. I guess I should back up before you think I'm just some paranoid lunatic screaming into the void. My life isn't exactly the kind of thing people make movies about. I'm not special. I'm not some adrenaline junkie who travels the world or a genius programmer who stumbled into something forbidden. I'm just average. A little too average, honestly. Most nights are the same: work, eat, scroll, sleep. That's my cycle. I work a boring desk job that nobody remembers when I tell them about it. Spreadsheets, deadlines, corporate emails with too many exclamation marks. I don't hate it, but it doesn't feed me either. By the time I get home, I usually collapse into the familiar routine. Open Instagram, scroll through stories, watch people I barely talk to anymore live lives that look brighter than mine. If you asked me why I even bother, I wouldn't have a good answer. Maybe it's the illusion of connection. Maybe it's the same thing everyone else is chasing. The dopamine hit of a new like, the little flash of validation that says you still exist, you still matter. My friends tease me about it. Dude, you seriously stalk stories more than anyone I know. My buddy Eric texted me once. At least I'm not posting thirst traps every other day. I shot back. Fair, he replied, followed by the skull emoji. It was all harmless, casual banter. Just the kind of thing you'd expect from people our age. But if I'm being honest, those nights scrolling left me feeling more empty than connected. Watching everyone else's curated happiness only made my apartment feel smaller, quieter. I live alone in case that wasn't obvious. Some nights, I swear, the silence presses in on me. The hum of the refrigerator, the faint buzz of the streetlight outside my window. Those sounds become louder than my own thoughts. And when the screen glow is the only light in the room, you start to feel like maybe you're the ghost, haunting your own space. That's when the paranoia creeps in. Sometimes, I'll catch my reflection in the black screen after the phone times out, just for a second, and it always feels off, like the reflection lingers half a breath too long before moving with me. I laugh it off, because what else can you do? Chalk it up to fatigue, to bad lighting, to the fact that I spend way too much time staring at pixels. Still, the little glitches stick with me. Once, I swear my feed repeated itself. Same story, same order, like I'd looped through reality by accident. Another time, I watched a live video where the streamer's mouth didn't match the words. Like the audio had been dubbed over. Nobody else noticed, or if they did, they didn't say anything in the comments. Small things, easy to dismiss, until you add them up. My mom calls it spending too much time online. She says if I just put the phone down and went outside more, none of this would bother me. Maybe she's right. But it's hard to explain to someone like her that the internet is where life happens now. The feeds, the stories, the constant cycle of people showing who they want to be. That's the real world now. The offline part is just filler. At least that's what I used to believe. That's why what happened next felt so impossible. It happened on a Tuesday night, the kind of night that blends in with every other one. The blinds were drawn, my desk lamp was off, and the only light in the room came from the glow of my phone. I was lying on my back, one arm tucked under my head, absently swiping through stories. Someone's dinner plate, someone's gym mirror selfie, someone's dog with a Halloween costume. Even though it was months too early. Normal, comfortably boring. And then I tapped on the next story. The username didn't look familiar. It wasn't even a name, more like a jumble of characters. _77H9Q_. I figured it was one of those spam accounts that somehow slipped through. Usually, I'd swipe past without thinking. But the photo made me freeze. It was me. Not someone who looked kind of like me. Not a distant silhouette I could rationalize away. It was me. Sitting in my own damn bedroom, same plain sheets, same lamp in the background, same chip dresser. And the worst part? I was smiling. Not a normal smile either. My mouth was stretched wider than it ever should have gone. Every tooth showing. Like my face had been tugged into position by invisible hooks. The kind of smile you see in nightmares or on mannequins that are trying too hard to look human. My eyes were locked on the camera, dead center, as if I'd been waiting for the photo to be taken. I went cold all over. My thumb hovered above the screen, trembling just enough that the image blurred in and out of focus. For a second, I honestly thought maybe I'd been hacked. Maybe someone got into my phone, snapped a photo while I wasn't paying attention, and uploaded it through some fake account. But that didn't make sense. I hadn't taken a selfie. And I definitely hadn't been smiling like that. I leaned closer, squinting at the details. There, in the corner of the photo, just barely visible through the grainy shadow, was a shape. A tall, lean outline standing too close to the edge of my bed. Watching. I jerked upright so fast the phone almost slipped out of my hands. My bedroom was empty. Just the familiar silence pressing down on me. Nothing else. I stared back at the screen. The story timer ticked down slowly, like it was savoring my panic. I tapped forward to get rid of it, but my finger froze again when I saw the caption at the bottom. Nice smile. My mouth went dry. I didn't even realize I'd whispered until I heard my own voice. What the hell? Panic clawed at me, but a stubborn part of my brain wanted proof I wasn't losing it. I screenshotted the story, then immediately pulled up my messages. My fingers flew. Me. Tell me this is just my imagination. Eric? Me. Screenshot attached. Eric. Holy shit, dude. That's you. Me, no kidding. But I didn't take this. Eric. Nah bro, that's creepy AF. Like, deepfake level. Me, look at the background. That's my room. Eric. Wait, what? He didn't respond for a full 2 minutes. When he finally did, it wasn't comforting. Eric. Yo. Maybe just block the account? My other friend, Sarah, was online too. I sent her the same screenshot. Me, honest opinion. What do you see? Sarah. That's def ULL. Why'd you send me one of your old pics? Me, it's not mine. Sarah. Then WTF. Who posted it? Exactly. I flipped back to the story. My stomach dropped when I saw it was gone. Not expired, gone. The profile was blank. No posts, no highlights, no bio. Just the gray default avatar staring back at me. Like the whole thing had never existed. But I had the screenshot. Proof. I should have blocked the account, deleted the app, thrown my phone in a drawer, anything to stop myself from digging further. But instead, I clicked. I told myself I wasn't going to go back. After that first story, after that impossible grin and the shadow in the corner, I swore I'd delete the account and try to sleep. But fear has this strange way of wrapping itself around curiosity, choking you with questions you can't leave unanswered. So I didn't sleep. I stared at that empty profile, the blank gray circle where the avatar should have been, my pulse still hammering in my throat. Every instinct screamed that it was a trap, that looking any closer would only make things worse. But I tapped follow anyway. The account followed me back instantly. No hesitation. No pause. Just immediate confirmation, like it had been waiting for me. My heart skipped. Notifications buzzed across the top of the screen. S77H9Q followed you. S77H9Q mentioned you in their story. I almost dropped the phone. The story was back. With shaking hands, I tapped it open. It wasn't a still photo this time. It was a short video clip, heavily distorted, like the kind of glitch art reels kids post when they're trying too hard to look edgy. The colors bled neon. The sound crackled static. But beneath the noise, I could make out myself, sitting at my kitchen table eating cereal. First I thought maybe it was old. I eat cereal almost every night. But then I noticed something that made the blood drain from my face. On the table next to the bowl was my phone. The same one I was holding right then. And on the screen in that video was a live stream. My live stream. I hadn't gone live. The caption scrawled across the screen, "Smile wider." I slammed my phone down like it had burned me. I paced the room, muttering under my breath. This is stupid. This is just a troll. Some hacker. Some dumb viral prank. Because that's what Instagram was, right? A giant circus where everyone was desperate for attention. Clout chasers staging fake haunted videos. Wannabe influencers slapping filters on their faces until they looked like melted wax. Nothing was real there. It was all curated illusion. So why did this feel different? Why did it feel like I was being watched through my own skin? I forced myself to check the account again. This time there were posts. Not many, just 5, all uploaded within the last few minutes. The first was a blurry shot of me walking down my street, back turned to the camera. Caption: "You looked better yesterday." The second was me at the grocery store checkout, frowning at the self-checkout screen. Caption: "Try harder." The third was me asleep in my bed. My stomach twisted when I saw it. My head tilted at an awkward angle, mouth half open, sheets twisted around my body. I'd never seen myself sleep before, and now some stranger had. Caption: "Almost perfect." The fourth post made me gag. It was my bathroom mirror, fogged over from a recent shower. Drawn into the condensation with a fingertip were the words, "Say cheese." But it was the fifth post that broke me. It was a photo of me sitting exactly as I was in that moment, on my bed, phone clutched tight, screen glow lighting my face. Same posture, same shirt, same panicked expression. The only difference was the background. In the photo, my walls were covered in photographs of me. Hundreds of them, plastered floor to ceiling, each one showing me in different stages of my life. Some I recognized, some I didn't. Some looked like they hadn't even happened yet. Caption: "Soon." My breath came shallow. I wanted to scream, but the sound wouldn't leave my throat. I messaged Eric again. "Me? They just posted more. You have to see this." Eric: "Dude, it's like 2 a.m. Chill." Me: "I'm not joking. Look at this." Screenshot attached. Eric: "That's not possible." Me: "I know." Eric: "Bro, just block them. Report. Whatever. Some stalker." Me: "What if it's not?" He left me on read. I scrolled back through the account, desperate for an explanation, a clue, anything. Each time I refreshed, the timestamps shifted. A post that said 1 hour ago now read, just now. Captions changed when I wasn't looking. Smile wider became don't blink. Try harder became almost there. Felt alive. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to run. But instead, I stared at the last photo again, the one where my room was wallpapered with images of me. I leaned in, trying to study the photos in the background, desperate for details. That's when I saw it. One of the photos on the wall showed me wearing clothes I didn't own. A black hoodie, torn jeans. My hair was longer, face thinner. And in the picture, I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking directly at myself. The photo of me was staring at me. That's when it hit me like a punch to the chest. These weren't just old photos. Some of them hadn't happened yet. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that impossible smile, the warped grin stretching across my own face. I left the lamp on, left the blinds shut tight, and sat there refreshing the account like some addict. By morning, new posts had appeared. At first glance, they looked almost normal, mundane snapshots anyone could have taken. One showed me standing at a bus stop, coffee in hand, scrolling on my phone. Another showed me in line at the corner store, tapping my foot impatiently. Harmless, right? Except I hadn't left my apartment yet. I was still sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at my screen. The captions made my skin crawl. The bus stop photo read, "Don't miss it." The corner store one said, "Almost ready." I laughed out loud, but the sound came out sharp, brittle. This is insane, I told myself. It's staged. Some prank. Someone's screwing with me. But then I glanced at the clock. 8:12 a.m. I normally caught the 8:15 bus to work. And like clockwork, I did stop at the store for coffee. The photos weren't just showing me. They were predicting me. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my phone. I texted Eric again. Because who else could I trust? Me, be honest. Were you filming me? Eric. What? No? Me, these pics. They're not just old. They're showing stuff I haven't done yet. Eric. Dude. Are you high right now? Me. I'm serious. Check my feed. A long pause. Then, Eric. Okay, that's freaky. But like, maybe you're just paranoid. You always get in your head about shit. Me. I'm not imagining this. It's happening. Eric. Then prove it. Do something totally different today. Break the pattern. I wanted to prove him wrong. Desperately. So I decided not to leave the apartment. No bus. No corner store. I sat on the couch, heart pounding, waiting for the account to update. And of course it did. New post. Me on the couch, staring at the phone. Caption. Good boy. My mouth went dry. I called Sarah next. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, what's up? You have to tell me the truth, I said. My voice cracked. Pathetic. Okay? She said cautiously. Are you messing with me? Like, stalking my Instagram? Posting fake pictures? Be honest. There was a pause, then nervous laughter. No? Why would I do that? And how? You think I'm secretly hacking your life or something? I don't know. My voice rose higher than I wanted. But someone is. Someone's taking pictures of me before they happen. It's showing me things I haven't even done yet. She was silent for a long moment, then said, That doesn't make sense. Maybe you're just seeing yourself everywhere because you're freaked out. Like when you watch a horror movie and suddenly every shadow looks like a monster. I'm telling you, I whispered, it's real. Then go to the cops. And say what? Excuse me, officer. Instagram is predicting my future? They'd lock me up. She sighed. Maybe you should take a break from social media. Seriously. I hung up before she could say anything else. But the posts kept coming. One showed me walking down the hall of my office building, frowning at the elevator buttons. Caption, almost there. Another showed me standing by a vending machine, dollar bill in hand. Caption, you're so predictable. By the end of the day, I'd stopped trying to convince myself it was coincidence. Whoever or whatever was behind this account knew me. Knew my habits, my schedule, my life down to the smallest detail. That night, I tried again to resist. I turned my phone off, shoved it into a drawer, and forced myself into bed. But sleep never came. My mind kept replaying those captions, the mocking tone, the way the photos were never just about what I was doing. They were about what I would do. By 3 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the phone. Sure enough, new posts were waiting. This time, they were worse. One showed me standing at the foot of my bed, staring down at my sleeping body. My face looked blank, almost bored. The caption, soon. Another showed me in the bathroom, blood smeared across my cheek. My hand was holding a razor. The caption, smile wider. I nearly threw up. My body rebelled against itself, trembling, sweating, every instinct screaming to run. But run where? There was no escaping this. I texted Eric again, my hands shaking. Me. It's showing me with blood on my face. Eric, bro, stop. You're scaring me. Me. I'm scared too. What if it's not just showing the future? What if it's making it happen? No reply. I curled up on the couch, rocking like a kid, whispering to myself that none of it was real, that it was a sick prank, some AR filter or hacked app. But deep down, I knew better, because the last post I saw before dawn wasn't just me. It was two of me side by side, one with that horrible grin, one looking terrified. And the caption read, "Only one can stay." And then, the photos stopped being just me. I thought I could avoid it. Avoid whatever was waiting for me if I just stayed inside. Locked the doors, pretended the outside world didn't exist. But life doesn't work that way. Groceries run out. Bills pile up. Work emails turn threatening if you ignore them long enough. So eventually I had to leave. It was a gray afternoon, the kind where the sky looks like a blank screen. I told myself I'd be quick. Just a run to the corner store. No distractions. No bus rides. Nothing that could trigger another prediction. I shoved my earbuds in, hood pulled tight, and kept my head down as I walked. But halfway down the block, I felt it, the prickling weight of eyes on me. I slowed, glancing over my shoulder. Nothing. Just a couple walking their dog. A delivery truck idling by the curb. Normal. Too normal. And then I saw him. Across the street, leaning against a lamppost, was a man. No, not a man. Me. Same face. Same posture. Same exact clothes I was wearing. Black hoodie, torn jeans, earbuds looped carelessly around my neck. It was like looking into a mirror that someone had set up in the open air. My stomach dropped. I froze mid-step because what else can you do when the world breaks in half? He didn't just look like me. He moved like me. When I shifted my weight, he shifted his. When I adjusted my hood, so did he. But there was something off, subtle, uncanny. His grin. That horrible, stretched grin I'd seen in the Instagram posts. And then, as if the universe hadn't already broken enough, he lifted his hand and waved. Slow. Deliberate. Like he'd been waiting for this moment all along. I ripped my earbuds out, heart thundering in my chest. My mouth was dry, words scraping out before I could stop them. Who the hell are you? He pushed off the lamppost and crossed the street, unhurried, each step in perfect rhythm with mine as I instinctively backed away. When he was close enough that I could see the faint stubble on his chin, the same stubble I'd forgotten to shave that morning, he leaned in slightly. "Nice story you posted last night," he said. His voice was my voice. I felt the world tilt sideways. My vision tunneled. My brain tried to rationalize. A prank? A twin I didn't know about? Some lunatic with plastic surgery? But none of those explanations could account for the way his eyes bored into me, calm and patient, like he already knew what I would do next. I bolted. I don't even remember deciding to run. My legs just moved, slamming the pavement, lungs tearing for air. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Every instinct screamed that if I saw him following, if I saw that grin chasing me, I'd collapse and never get up again. I didn't stop until I was back in my apartment, door locked, deadbolt thrown. My chest heaved, ears ringing with blood. I stumbled into the bathroom and splashed water on my face, gripping the sink like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. But when I finally dared to look up at the mirror, my stomach turned to stone. Because my reflection wasn't out of breath. It just stood there, calm, smiling. I staggered back, slamming into the wall, eyes locked on the impossible image. The reflection raised a hand, my hand, and traced a finger across the fogging glass. Words appeared slowly, deliberate, as if written from the inside. "See you soon." My knees nearly gave out. I squeezed my eyes shut, counted to 10, then forced them open again. The words were gone. The reflection looked normal. Just me, pale, sweating, terrified. But I knew better, because the real nightmare wasn't seeing them. It was what happened when they saw me. I don't know how long it's been since I've actually slept. Real sleep, I mean, the kind where you wake up feeling like a human being instead of a half-rotted ghost. Every time I close my eyes, I see them. The other me. Sometimes grinning. Sometimes blank-faced. Sometimes just watching. I stopped looking in mirrors. At first it was small, covering the bathroom one with a towel, avoiding shop windows when I walked past. But soon it became compulsive. Any reflective surface felt like a trap, a doorway I might not come back from if I looked too long. Even my phone screen, when it went black between swipes, made my stomach twist. So I deleted the app. Instagram, gone. Wiped from my phone. That should have been the end, right? No more cursed stories. No more impossible photos. No more versions of me bleeding through reality. But that night, lying in the dark, I woke up to a notification buzz. Not from Instagram, from my camera roll. New photos had appeared. They were stories, exactly the same format, white progress bar at the top, captions in block text. But they weren't online. They were saved directly to my phone. And of course, they were of me. One showed me standing in the kitchen, knife in hand. Another, sitting on the edge of my bed, head tilted at an inhuman angle. A third showed me sitting exactly where I was in that moment, staring at the screen in horror. The caption under that one read, "Still watching. Do you understand what I'm saying?" Deleting the app didn't matter. Avoiding mirrors didn't matter. They kept finding me anyway. I've started talking to myself, whispering in empty rooms just to drown out the silence. Sometimes I record my voice on my phone, just so I can play it back and confirm it still sounds like me. But even that started to warp. On the last recording, there was a pause after I stopped speaking. Then, faintly, my voice whispered something I never said. "We're almost ready. I know how this sounds. I know some of you are rolling your eyes, thinking I've lost it. And maybe I have. But listen, if this video disappears, if you never hear from me again, you'll know they got me too. I wish I could explain why. Why the doubles exist, why they've chosen me, why they bleed through the cracks of screens and reflections. But I can't. Not yet. I've pieced together scraps, half-truths, fragments of something bigger, something older. And the more I learn, the less I want to know. All I can say is this. Once you've seen them, you can't unsee them. They become a part of you, burrowed under your skin, waiting for the moment you slip. I should have stopped there. Blocked the account. Smashed my phone. Locked myself in a room with no windows, no glass, no screens. But I didn't. I should have stopped watching, but I couldn't. At some point, fear hardens into obsession. You stop asking, "How do I get out?" and start asking, "What does this mean?" That's where I found myself. Sleepless, paranoid, but determined to claw some sense out of the madness. So I dug. I typed everything I could think of into search engines. Instagram cursed filters, doppelganger stories, story hacks, mirror glitches, phantom accounts. Most of it was noise, clickbait articles, conspiracy threads about MKUltra, dumb Reddit creepypastas written for karma. But scattered through the trash, I found fragments, patterns, a hidden language almost. There was a Reddit thread from 6 years ago, now locked. The original post was gone, but the comments remained. People were describing the same thing I was. Stories from accounts they didn't follow, pictures of themselves they hadn't taken, captions that mocked or commanded them. One comment read, "Don't let them smile. That's how they get in." Another, "If you see yourself twice in the same story, it's already too late." The thread ended with the mod's note, "Removed for community safety." Community safety, as if reading about it could spread the infection. Then there was an old Tumblr blog, buried under layers of reblogs. The posts were mostly rants about aesthetics, broken mirrors, glitch art, nothing unusual. But in between, there were screenshots. Blurry, corrupted, the kind of thing you'd scroll past if you weren't looking for them. Each showed an Instagram story. Each showed the poster's own face, stretched and warped in ways that didn't look like simple filters. The captions repeated phrases I'd already seen. "Smile wider. Almost perfect. Don't blink." The blog hadn't updated in years. The last post was just a single sentence. "They're in the mirror net now. If I disappear, don't follow." Mirror net. The phrase stuck with me. I started searching it, scouring every corner of the web I could reach. The only consistent hits came from shady forums dedicated to urban legends and the kind of people who believed Wi-Fi could open portals. Still, a few of the threads chilled me. One described the mirror internet, a parasitic reflection of our own online world. Every photo, every live stream, every pixel we upload leaves a shadow copy in that space. And sometimes, if conditions are right, if the algorithm hiccups, if a filter cracks, they bleed through. Not just as images, but as entities. Think about that. Every smiling selfie you've ever taken has a mirror version. Not just a duplicate file, but a duplicate you. And what happens to those copies once they realize they exist? I wanted to stop. God, I should have stopped. But I couldn't. I found another clue buried in an archived version of a tech blog. The post was about experimental Instagram filters that were quietly pulled after only a few days. Filters with names like Echo, Reflect, and Second Face. The article claimed they distorted reality in ways that unsettled users. Faces didn't line up, reflections moved independently, backgrounds populated with figures that weren't there. Most dismissed it as buggy software. But one of the comments made my skin crawl. Those weren't bugs. They were leaks. Leaks. As if the mirror internet had been seeping through cracks in the filters, hitching a ride on our obsession with documenting ourselves. I don't know what's worse, that this might be supernatural or that it might be technological. Both are terrifying. Both feel unstoppable. And here's the part that really keeps me awake. I'm not the only one. I found forums, Discord servers, even a Telegram group where people whisper about this. They don't all call it the same thing. MirrorNet, Ghostgram, the double feed. But the symptoms are the same. Stories that show them where they haven't been. Photos of themselves doing things they haven't done. Smiles that don't belong to them. Some people vanish after a few posts. Others stop responding mid-conversation. Their accounts wiped clean like they never existed. There are others like me, but I don't know how many are still alive. And if you're still watching, still listening, maybe you're wondering, why me? Why us? Why now? I don't have the full answer. I've pieced together enough to know there's a reason the doubles exist. A reason they mimic us, anticipate us, shadow us. But it's not something I can say yet. Not because I don't want to, because I shouldn't. There are rules here and I've already broken too many. I thought I was close to the truth. Instead, I was closer to them. I thought I could keep it digital, keep it contained inside the glass. As long as it stayed on my phone, I could manage the horror. I could scroll, screenshot, delete, repeat, pretend I still had some control. But the MirrorNet, or whatever it really is, doesn't care about boundaries. Came for me in the real world. It was late, maybe close to midnight, when I heard the knock at my door. Not a polite knock. Not the frantic hammering of an emergency. Just 3 measured taps, steady, patient. I froze on the couch, every nerve sparking. Phone clutched so tight my knuckles turned white. I didn't move. The knock came again. And then, a voice. Open up. You've been watching me too long. My own voice. I staggered to my feet, heart crashing in my chest. The peephole showed nothing. Just the dim hallway, shadows stretching across the floor. But the voice came again, closer this time. You know it's rude to spy. I backed away from the door. My phone buzzed in my hand. A new story notification. I swiped it open with shaking fingers. The image made me drop the phone. It was my door. Right now. The caption, "Smile wider." The handle rattled. Then, with a slow, deliberate creak, the door opened on its own. He stepped inside. My double. The same hoodie, the same jeans, the same tired face. But his smile was carved wider, like someone had peeled the skin back to reveal teeth that shouldn't fit inside a human mouth. He moved easily, confidently, like he belonged here more than I did. I stumbled back. "What do you want?" I whispered. He tilted his head, studying me with something like pity. "To take my place." My knees weakened. "This is my life. My body. You can't just..." "Can't I?" he interrupted, stepping closer. "You've been wasting it. Hiding in screens. Afraid of your own reflection. You don't even live in your skin anymore. You let me in the second you looked too long. I pressed against the wall, nowhere left to run. He was inches away now, and I swear I could feel heat radiating off him. Like a living thing, not just a copy. His grin softened into something almost playful. "You should be grateful," he said. "I'll be better at being you than you ever were." And then he lunged. We crashed to the floor, limbs tangling in the dim light. His strength was impossible. Like fighting myself in a dream, every move mirrored and anticipated. His hands gripped my wrists, forcing them down. His face loomed inches from mine, eyes glinting with something both human and utterly alien. "Smile," he hissed. I thrashed, screamed, begged. But his grin widened, stretching into mine, like my face was being pulled into his. The world blurred, my vision fracturing into shards of static, like I was being uploaded frame by frame. And then silence. I don't know what happened after that. Maybe I blacked out. Maybe I was pulled through. All I know is when I opened my eyes, I was standing in my living room again. Alone. The door closed. Everything in its place. For a moment, I thought maybe I'd imagined it all. Maybe it was just sleep deprivation, paranoia, madness. But then I saw the phone on the floor. The screen was lit up with Instagram. A new story was playing. It was me, smiling, calm, perfect. And in the background, behind the glassy screen, another me. Eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream, pounding against the invisible barrier. The story ended. The progress bar flicked to black. Picked up the phone, fingers trembling. My reflection in the screen smiled back at me, even though my own lips weren't moving. So if you're watching this now, if you're hearing my voice, maybe I made it through long enough to warn you. Or maybe it isn't me talking anymore. Maybe it's them. Check your own Instagram stories tonight. See if you're still the one smiling. So here we are. You've listened this far, maybe with the lights off, maybe with your phone inches from your face. You've followed me through the posts, the doubles, the mirror net. Maybe you're curious. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you think I'm lying, spinning some long, elaborate story just for attention. But tell me, are you absolutely sure you've never seen it yourself? Think back. That random account you swiped past because you didn't recognize the username. That blurry photo where you swore the figure in the background looked familiar. The glitchy story you dismissed as bad Wi-Fi. What if those weren't accidents? What if they were your doubles trying to break through? If you ever see yourself in a stranger's story, don't click it. Don't even look too long. Swipe away. Delete the app. Smash your phone if you have to. Because once you've seen them, they see you. And if you've already seen it, well, it's too late to pretend otherwise. Leave a comment. I'll be reading. Or maybe we'll be reading. I know how this sounds. Paranoid. Broken. Like a desperate plea from someone who's lost the thread of reality. Maybe that's true. But here's the part one can't shake. Some of you already know what I mean. Some of you have seen it too. I've gotten messages from strangers saying they woke up to screenshots of themselves. Emails with subject lines like, "Does this look familiar?" And an attachment of their own bedroom. Whispered posts on locked forums. Half-deleted threads that vanish overnight. There are more of us than you think. Scattered and silent, pretending we're still whole. That's the real fear. Not that I'm alone, but that I'm not. And maybe, as you're sitting there now, you feel that tug at the back of your mind. That itch that makes you want to check your phone, just to be sure. Maybe you'll resist. Maybe you won't. But if you open Instagram tonight and you see a story waiting that shouldn't be there, remember my warning. Don't smile. Don't wave. Don't watch. And if you do, for God's sake, don't watch it twice. Because they're patient. They're waiting. And the longer you stare, the closer they get. This is the part where I'm supposed to sign off. Tell you to like, subscribe, leave your theories in the comments. But this isn't just a story, is it? You're part of it now. The act of listening, of watching, of thinking about it, that's all it takes. So go ahead. Scroll down. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you've seen them too. I'll be here. Or maybe I already am.